Janice, and this is Through the Grapevine. Today's topic is feminism. We're going to have a couple special guests talk about the positive and negatives about feminism, and we're going to have our special guest, Miss Grace Applebottom, who's on the fence about feminism, come out. She's going to hear both sides, and then she's going, by the end of the show, she's going to make her decision on where she stands on feminism. So without further ado, let's welcome Miss Grace Applebottom to the show.
Hi Don, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a senior in college, and I am working on my senior thesis on feminism.
Okay, so what is your concentration in?
I'm studying to be a journalist, and my thesis must be on a political issue, and my stance in on it as well.
Okay, so how do you feel about feminism?
Well, I really don't know where I stand. My boyfriend 3 years ago, I'm sorry about that, cheated on me with my best friend. And, you know, both men and females have hurt me, so.
Okay, alright, sorry to hear about that. Do you think the past events in your life will sway you one way?
No, I don't really think so. You know, I don't think the past will cloud my vision on, you know, how I feel.
Okay. Alright, well, we're going to go to a commercial break. When we come back, we'll have our first special guest in the show.
Hi, I'm Stacey Anderson, and welcome to Princeton University, where the price tag doesn't matter. You should choose us to be your college education because we offer 142 undergraduate programs and have a student population of 25,000. We offer many extracurricular activities that vary from art club to different types of sports. If you have any questions, please call 1-866-565-1842. Go Lemurs!
Welcome back, viewers. We are going to introduce our first special guest, Dr. Preston from Princeton. How you doing?
Thanks for having me today, Don.
Not a problem. So, you have a doctorate in history.
Yes, I do. It is centralized in social movements.
That sounds interesting. So today's topic is about feminism.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you can give us some background information on it?
Well, starting right around the 1850s, women did not have a lot of rights. They didn't have access to quality education, jobs, and other sorts of things.
So when did this all start to improve?
Right about after World War II. But before then, women had a very hard time.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit more?
Well, where should I begin? Let's see. The first major event was probably in 1913, and the suffragists held a march about 2 months before Woodrow Wilson's inauguration. And they were attacked by angry crowds and knocked to the ground, and also had burning cigars thrown at them.
Oh, that's interesting. Where was the police while this was happening?
Oh, they were there. They just refused to step in.
So what happened next?
Pretty much, even though the women's suffragists had a rough start, by 1916, there were about 2 million women fighting for women's rights. And with all the support of the movement had gained, Alice Paul, the Women's Party leader, held protests outside the White House, and she also, with some other women, she burned copies of his speeches.
So did anything else happen?
Many other things, actually. They were arrested, and while in prison, there were a lot of hunger strikes, and women all over the country protested the arrests and treatments of prisoners. So, luckily, Congress passed a law in 1919 for women to have the right to vote, and it was finally ratified in 1920.
Oh, okay. So what did that mean?
Women finally had the right to vote. It was a huge victory for the whole movement. Women were also working jobs, although they were labor intensive, like factories, they were not paid very well. So there weren't any major improvements until World War II actually started.
Okay, that is quite a bit of interesting material. So did things get better after 1950?
Yeah, women started to go to school more, and as well as having choices, the war against women was considered to be over.
It's good to hear. Well, Mr. Preston, we'd like to thank you for coming on the show today.
No problem.
That was a lot of information to take in. I really didn't know women had such a struggle. Of course, we're oppressed!
Wow, well, that was a little sneak peek of our next guest. So, are you ready to hear from our next speaker?
Why not, Don?
All right, well, with that, let's welcome Miss Bertha Morgan to the show. Bertha, how do you feel about feminism?
Hey, hey! Ho, ho! This penis party's got to go!
Alright, well, I'm guessing you call yourself a feminist.
Of course. Why should men have all the power?
Can you explain that further?
Well, in business and politics, men are seen as more influential and more powerful than women are. And on average, they get paid way more than women do, even if the genders do the same thing. According to the National Committee on Pay Equity, women's earnings were 77% of men's in 2011. Overall, men just have more privileges.
What are some of these privileges you speak of?
Well, the greatest privilege of all, of course, is having a penis.
Okay, well, how is having a penis a privilege?
Well, men can have sex whenever they want.
Can you explain that further?
Well, men flirt with girls just to get them back to their place and screw them, usually without their consent. And they have no emotional attachment whatsoever. All men do is rape and run.
Oh, why is it that you feel this way?
Well, Andrea Dworkin's book Intercourse says so.
Okay, why is this one book so important?
It's like the holy Bible of feminism. In fact, after reading this book, I learned just how cruel and animalistic men truly are. I don't even shake hands with men anymore.
Wow, why is that?
Well, I don't associate with inferior people with two heads, especially those that think with that second head, and I don't mean the one on his shoulders.
Well, you know, some people may argue that two is better than one.
Well, them.
And on that note, we are going to take a word from our sponsors.
Hi, I'm Mary, and this is a baby elephant. Do you want to know what makes me sad? Elephants are no longer at the zoo. If you want these majestic creatures to come back to the zoo, you have to vote yes on Prop 52. It doesn't change any laws, it'll just bring them back to the zoo, and that'll make me happy. Wouldn't it make you?
Welcome back, viewers. Today our topic is feminism. We're going to welcome our final guest on the show today, Mr. Bruce Peterson. Bruce, how you doing?
Good, thanks for having me, Don.
No problem. So tell me, what's your stance on feminism?
Well, I identify myself as an anti-feminist.
Why is it that you feel this way?
I feel that feminism doesn't really exist. Feminism is a joke, and the people that believe in it are really just the punchline, which kind of shows how ridiculous the concept really is.
Okay, so why is it so ridiculous?
Feminism seems to serve no purpose. Women will never be equal to men. Everyone learned the difference between men and women in grade school biology.
Okay, so will there ever be a time when men and women are equal?
No, because men are biologically created to handle working in the real world, while women are too weak to handle that. That's why they stay at home. It's cleaning, cooking, and taking care of the children.
Okay, so the responsibility of females is more staying at home, doing the housework, that kind of thing?
Women must leave the house to do their job. A woman's job includes also picking up the groceries for the cooking or picking up the kids from school. It's just the providing for that should be left up to the men.
Okay, well, Bruce, thanks for coming on the show today.
Yeah.
Alright, we're going to hear a word from our sponsors.
Hello, I am Lilith Colton. I am the 2012 presidential candidate for the Dawn Party. If you vote for me, I promise to give you the freedom of expression. By this I mean, eat what you want, drink what you want, be who you want to be, and see whoever you want. But I do not mean wear what you want. This needs to change. By change, I mean pants. Boys, wear some belts. We don't want to see your boxers or whitey-tighties. And girls, leggings are not pants. Get that through your skulls. Once again, I am Lilith Colon for the Dawn Party. Don't vote for the Demodums or Republicans. Vote for me.
Welcome back, viewers. This is Through the Grapevine. Grace is here to learn about feminism for her senior thesis. She's been taking down notes, questions to ask the special guests that we've had in the show, and now it is her turn to ask them.
Alright, thank you, Don. Alright, guys. So, how do you define feminism, and do you think people know enough about it?
Feminism is the fundamental belief that women are human beings. And no, I don't think people know enough about it. They know the stereotypes, but not the facts.
What do you feel, Bruce?
As Rush Limbaugh stated, feminism was established to allow unattractive women access to the mainstream. I think that too many people follow the idea of it because not enough women are in the picture.
Oh, and do you think all females are feminists?
Actually, no. There are some good women out there. They're at home raising the children.
No!
Yeah.
They're there because men brainwashed them. I think more females need to be feminists.
Okay. Well, with the increase in equality between women and men over the last few decades, do you feel that there's still room for improvement?
According to a 2002 University of Michigan study, American men are doing more housework than ever before. The study also shows that men are putting in 16 hours a week around the house, up from just 12 hours a week in 1965. Nevertheless, women still come in first for their share of domestic duties at 27 hours a week. So yes, there is room for improvement.
I believe that instead of it increasing, it should decrease or even stay stagnant.
Interesting. So, do you see that, or do you think that females are equal in the workplace?
I think that females are at a great disadvantage when it comes to the workplace. They are not treated as they should be because they don't belong in the workplace. Getting paid less should be an incentive to go home and stay there.
Hell no. Women do the same amount of work
No.
and get paid less. Reforms have been made, although the status of women has not changed.
Very interesting. Now, do you think women have a glass ceiling when it comes to advancing in their careers?
Yes, and that's because men put it there and enforce it. There are very, very few CEOs that are female, unless they were the one that started the company.
Yeah, I believe that women do have a glass ceiling when it comes to their career, but I believe that it's in place for good reasons. For example, if a female wanted to advance in a career in Joe's auto industry, then the difficulty of moving up in the company might be an incentive to go back to where she belongs, in the kitchen.
Oh, no, you didn't.
Oh, okay, let's calm down now. Thank you. So, now, do you feel that women should be in the workplace or in a home?
The women belong at home. The reason they were ever at home to begin with was because the men were better at providing for the family, while women were better at teaching and dealing with the children, not to mention better at cooking.
I believe that women should have the choice to stay home or go to work if they want. If I want to stay home and take care of my kids, that should be my choice, but nobody else's.
Alright, well, thank you guys. I have no further questions.
Okay, and with that, we're going to hear a word from our sponsors, and after that, Grace is going to give us her final decision.
This dog was once cold, wet, and homeless. He was abandoned in an alleyway in the middle of Detroit. Luckily, the Humane Society found him. He was later adopted by a loving family. Wouldn't you love to have that special animal to add to your family? Contact your local animal shelter today.
Welcome back, viewers. So Grace, have you made a decision?
Yes, Don. So I've decided to take both bits and pieces of feminism and anti-feminism. My senior thesis is like what we've talked about, is about feminism. And you know what? I'm just going to stay in the middle. You know, I see both what Bertha and what Bruce has said, and honestly, they make both valid points. So with this decision, I'm going to just stay in the middle.
Okay, that's a fair answer. So do you think you have enough information to write your senior thesis?
Yes, Don.
Okay. All right, well, with that, that completes another episode of Through the Grapevine. Make sure to tune in next week when we talk about the presidential election.